2% or something like that. That was a really cool data point.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. What else? What do you see? What do you hear? Yeah.
Yeah, she pretty much already said it, but it's like they all kind of talk about the idea that there's a lot of potential that's being wasted. There's a lot of
Okay. Wasted potential. Good. Yeah.
I like the idea of food hubs in aggregation, how they can be centralized places to distribute food for communities at a, like, at a sort of closer level than just big industry, although I don't know how you implement that without like them eventually like trying to become big corporations.
Yeah.
Once it becomes super profitable for them to stay there.
Yeah, that's part of what makes it complicated, right? How do we find that balance?
Like an economy of scale, it kind of behooves them to try to become really big.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
It's interesting to see the fact that we can see the trends and we can see what would be best in terms of changes that need to be made. But for all of these different aspects, like government, like policies, and trying to get through all of the red tape, as visually shown for disposal, that's kind of getting in the way. Same with production, zoning laws, and all of that sort of thing are making it so much more difficult to create lasting change for sustainable agriculture.
So this raises a really important question, right? Which is the question that we at Tech particularly like, which is, what do we do? How do we solve the problem? And I'm wondering if you guys see any opportunities for intervention after looking at this, if you have ideas about what we could do. Yeah.
I know in our reading we had a lot of things about like educational outreach about the different ways you can eat healthily and prepare food and things like that. And that's something that we could possibly organize and then try to get people to come to.
Okay. All right. Good idea. What else? Where else do you see potential interventions? I know you got ideas. You're smart, engaged people. Yeah.
Well, this is on a really big scale, but I guess changing policy so that locally produced farms get more subsidies and benefits for producing in a conscious and local way.
Okay. Good. Great idea. Yeah. Yeah.
The best place to probably stage these interventions would be in the consumption area, because
Okay.
that's what individuals can pretty much directly control. There are some factors you can't control, like if you are in a food desert or you don't have access to high income, but you can at least be conscious about the framework of the
Okay.
food system and where you can do your part to promote local sustainable agriculture.
Okay. So the idea of individual responsibility. Okay. Yeah.
And to aid education, I guess, more like websites, or like a web database, so different recipes and other information.
Okay. Yeah. What about systemic responsibility? If not everything can be on the shoulders of the individual, if part of it is on the shoulders of the individual, but part of it isn't, where else do we need to have interventions, systemically speaking? Yeah.
Community-wide intervention so that that you can kind of tackle it from a general sense. So, community gardens, brownfields, the fact that there are brownfields, that seems like an interesting place where it might take some time to get through all the red tape, but if you are able to, then that's using land for something that's more useful.
Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah, following up on that, I come from Hong Kong, and there's this new trend of rooftop farming. So, providing these opportunities and removing the red tape so you can take advantage of rooftops,
Yeah.
which are normally not used for that much.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that. Any other ideas about systemic things that could happen? I mean, it's community health, right? So community health is about the individual and it's about the community. So what else do you think that communities can do? Yeah.
I think it kind of like relates to different things, but changing there's this whole like the goal of business is to maximize profit, and so that's always cheap. And like we've gotten used to like having cheap things, and what kind of stuff to do that with, kind of talking about like efficiency and things like that. So to be really engaging businesses and community and kind of changing the culture of like, if our goal is not to maximize profit, but it's somehow like increase sustainability, then we need to like start incorporating that into business owners. And that's kind of how we really encourage and motivate small businesses, and like not that like small businesses is really wrong necessarily, but I guess that's what we goal. So
Yeah.
like, we really changing the attitude of the culture of like business engagement in the community.
So a paradigm shift, a sort of philosophical shift in how we think about where food systems fit into a capitalist economy. All right, interesting. Yeah.
Also, there needs to be some kind of shift along similar lines of keeping more local farms and more local products in a local area, as opposed to all of this waste that we have trying to get pineapples from Hawaii to have in January in New York. That just shouldn't happen. That's where I think it should scale back a bit and make it more of a regional thing in order to keep it sustainable and reduce waste.
Yeah.
I also think there's an appreciation part or an incentivization part, because I know in our area, we found out that farmers don't make enough income to, sustain their own lives. So it's realizing that they're important and that they deserve the funding to keep on doing this, to keep those local farms and local businesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a kind of dangerous positive feedback loop between big business and consumers, where the more we shirk local and sustainable options in exchange for big business, the more incentivized they are to continue to build the kind of a global, efficient food network that brings you pineapples in whatever city you want, but sacrifices a lot of energy to do so. So I think there's a compromise somewhere between keeping that structure and that skeleton in place, so you do have available options from kind of by using the transportation networks that have already been developed, but also if you're trying to buy tomatoes for dinner, maybe
Yeah.
go to a community garden or some other local kitchen instead.
Yeah. So, as we're thinking about this, as we're thinking about our ideas, like the how do we fix it, there's a piece of this that I want us to remember that's relevant to the key concepts, which is that when we're dealing in communities, our job is not to enter that community and say, here's the solution. Rather, one of the big things that Key Concepts talks about is that communities are individual. Communities have specific benefits and challenges, and that there are already leaders within those communities who are trying to tackle these issues. One of our responsibilities as people who want to build a more sustainable world is to let those existing systems, let those existing communities guide our thinking and inform us on how to more effectively implement change. And so this is particularly pertinent for you as you're preparing to go out and engage with communities. You have great ideas for how the world can be a better place and how we can tackle these specific issues. And the community partners that you're going to be engaging with, they also have amazing ideas that are informed by their history and their knowledge of their own community. And so what I really hope you'll do moving forward is learn from these partners. Learn from these organizations that you enter into that are wellsprings of knowledge that can deepen this conversation, this largely intellectual conversation, and help you to see where does this, do these words hit the pavement? Where does this become lived experience? How do I contribute to and become a part of that community in order to implement my ideas effectively? Does that make sense, right? So that's something we'll continue to talk about. You'll talk about with your professors, you'll talk about with the partners. But I really hope that this workshop has given you some foundational information that's useful for thinking about food systems. And then as we move forward, you'll continue to think about where you fit within the communities that are trying to make a more sustainable world. Does that make sense? All right. So we'll continue to correspond with you guys. We'll probably be sending you an updated version of the list that Catherine gave you today. But remember, be thinking about what you want to do soon, be RSVPing soon, so that you can get that sorted out before the semester gets any crazier than it already is. I really want to thank you guys for being here today. You did a great job. And I hope to see you again at the open house or at other events because we're really excited to have you in this program. Okay, thanks guys. Have a good day.